All right. Hey, it's Ian Cantle here, and in this episode of Marketing Guides for Small Business podcast, we are tackling a challenge many small business owners face, and that's that marketing feels overwhelming and time consuming. So today we have a roundtable discussion with our marketing experts, Ken Tucker and Paul Barthel, and myself, as we uncover practical strategies and tips to simplify marketing without sacrificing results. And we're going to explore how small businesses like yours can prioritize their efforts, leverage automation, focus on high impact tactics, and avoid distractions to create marketing that works. So, whether you're just starting out or looking to streamline your existing efforts or maximizing your ROI, this episode is packed with actionable insights that should make marketing easier and more effective for you. So, guys, I want to start with exploring what makes marketing hard. It doesn't make sense to talk about solutions until we talk about like what is the pain points. And I recently did a speaking engagement on a similar topic, and one of the kind of corny slogans I came up with was "Marketing isn't easy. If it was, it wouldn't be so darn hard." And I think that's kind of the sentiment of a lot of people. Like they feel like marketing should be a lot easier than it is, but it's tough, and it's tough and challenging to do good marketing. So why don't we jump in? Ken, why don't you just start us off? Why is marketing so hard?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people naturally equate marketing to tactic. And so when they're thinking about marketing, they're thinking, oh, well, I just need to send an email campaign or an email blast for that matter, not even a campaign, or I need to launch a billboard or whatever it might be. And the reality is, that's a tactic. It's not a strategy. It may get you some results, but when you start looking at the components of what's required in a modern marketing system today, there are a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of moving parts that you have to factor in. I like to say that marketing now consists of, and has for several years, consists of the classical creative aspect that a lot of people associate with advertising and marketing. But it also requires project management. It requires deep technical skills these days. With the onset of AI tools, a lot of people think it's pretty easy to go in and generate a blog post from AI. It is. It's very easy to generate a blog post. To generate a good blog post, it requires that you have some expertise and understanding in order to train the AI to give you the best output to fit your needs. And all of that starts with marketing strategy. So if you don't know who your ideal customer is, you don't know where they spend time online, you don't know what tactics are really going to be the most effective to try to reach them. You haven't mapped out the buyer's journey or the marketing hourglass, as you will. You're going to have some real challenges. And I think, I don't know about you, Ian, but I'll tell you flat out, I think this is just brutally honest. We lose money at the beginning. Every new project we start at least the first month or two, because we are cleaning up messes left by people who are supposed marketers but have no clue how to manage the technology side of things. Account access, they break up domain records, from the domain registrar and slap them on email servers and website hosts, not documented. Often it's done at the convenience of the marketing company that was working with the customer, not the convenience and management for the customer. And so it's not easy. It's like every time, I don't know about you, but every time we have a conversation with just the domain records and buying a domain name and then talking about DNS records, talking about email records, our clients just, they're like, what are you talking about? And it's like, they don't understand, just like I wouldn't understand the nuances of, being a chiropractor or a dentist or heck, even putting a roof on my house, so I'm not blaming people. I'm just, it's just a whole cold, harsh reality. My opinion is 90% of small business marketing companies that are out there, they do what's easy for them and what's best for them, not what's best for the customer. And that includes also the selection of tactics that they implement. So, and again, it's because most marketing companies have no thought about strategy. They're so excited somebody bought something from them that is something that they wanted to sell them, and then they just kind of launch that, and it's really largely tactic driven.
Yeah, or they have their kind of micro strategy, because most marketing agencies now, I think they sell strategy, but they sell strategy to what they deliver, not an overarching
Right.
holistic approach to marketing for the actual business. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, right, Ken?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you have a micro strategy, sure, you might execute your social media really well if that's who you're hiring, but in context of the overall business and in context of what you're trying to achieve as your overall business goals, it's not going to help you if you don't have it in that larger context or that larger marketing plan, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people
Good point.
buy marketing from tool vendors, so there's a popular tool vendor out there that ends in IUM, IUM. I'm not going to say the full name. And what they do is they give you, for example, the ability to do text marketing, and they give you a bunch of sample text marketing messages that you can use to start communicating and with your customers. Some operational, some customer support, some maybe marketing related, reputation related, but there's nobody there guiding you to do that. And whether it's buying a website from some of these vendors, or a tool, a customer relationship management system, a lot of times when people buy those solutions, they think they're getting marketing, and they're really just getting kind of preloaded stuff without any guidance on how to use it. Another classic example is, so many people that I talk to, they have a horrible opinion about text marketing. And it's because they use the system that was provided by the point of sale system. So literally all it does is gives them the ability to send text messages without any thought or consideration about building and maintaining a quality list, and then creating text messages that people want to receive that are designed to drive action. A lot of times, if you're not trained, you may initially think, oh, I've got this banana pizza I want to sell, and so I'm going to hop on and I'm going to send a text to everybody who comes to my restaurant. How many people are going to want to buy that banana pizza? That's not a compelling offer.
Is it good, Ken? Because you're kind of dressed in the right color today for that.
Well, it could be, Los Pollos Hermanos. So it could have green chili on it, since it's an inspired New Mexican restaurant. Green chili and bananas, and so, if that's what you're offering. Yeah, a little sweet and savory, exactly. But it's like a lot of people don't. They also don't know how to craft offers, and that's marketing, messaging, and really the offer creation is a critical component to driving leads. And if you don't have that as a strategy baked into your strategy,
yeah. And one of the things you mentioned there is just this idea of absolving, as a business owner, absolving yourself of responsibility by offloading your marketing tasks to somebody else. And I think you can do that well if you choose the right marketing partner, like an agency, a holistic agency. But too often I see business owners, and just what you were saying, we come in and we clean up the messes. One of the messes is this multi-vendor approach where you pick and choose. You're like, okay, I want this guy to do my social media. Want this guy to do my SEO, this guy to do my website, this guy to do my text marketing, this guy, right? Direct mail, whatever it is. And the problem with that is of course, there's inherent disruption and lack of cohesion between those, which costs you an awful lot of time, energy, and money. But the biggest challenge, and I think this is what makes marketing difficult in that context for the business owner, is yes, the lack of results, but you essentially are not absolving yourself of responsibility. You are becoming a manager, a marketing CMO, a chief marketing officer of all of these vendors. And most business owners don't realize that when they go down that path, because they think it's the easier path, maybe the more cost-effective path, but it actually costs them an awful lot of time.
Yeah, if they even recognize to take on that role. And
Yeah.
so if you don't take on that role, then what happens typically, especially in a down economy, is every marketing companies wants to grab as much of that slice of pie as they can, or as many slices of that pie as they can, whatever. And so if there's nobody that's designated to be that manager that is the guiding force and getting everybody to operate in a force multiplication strategy, you're going to be wasting money. You're going to have people who are competing against each other. We see it all the time. We've been in a battle with a company that has been feeding information to people and making it sound like we're not doing our jobs, and and that they can come in and do a better job and all that stuff. And it gets annoying. It's not fun to be that situation as a vendor or as a marketing solution company, either one. And there's room for both. I mean, it's like, but it has to be a role that you identify, define, and empower, and everybody who is involved understand that who has the authority to make marketing decisions, for including budget, resources and timelines.
Yeah.
And quality standards for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we go through this episode, I think we'll unpack some of these areas as well. Paul, any high level thoughts about this, of why marketing is so hard for people?
I think it's pretty much been covered. I would say that marketing used to be less difficult. I'm not going to say it was ever easy, but then this thing called COVID hit, and a lot of small businesses that had never really done anything in the digital world realized they needed to start to, and everything got more expensive. Pay-per-click got more expensive. Marketing services themselves got more expensive. And back to what Ken was talking about, is that a lot of these small businesses, maybe through no fault of their own, or maybe because they just didn't understand, they sabotaged themselves. That the cheapest web hosting they could get, a marketing company that didn't know what they were talking about, a website that's 15 years old that they don't think needs to be updated, domain registrar or hosting where you can't do certain things you need to do without submitting a support ticket, which puts you at the mercy of them. And failure to use a CRM, or like Ken said, maybe they have some kind of operation software with what they jokingly call a CRM slapped on top of it. And that makes everything more difficult. You need a real CRM. And especially this day and age. Now, 10 years ago, maybe you get away without it. You can't this day and age. And same thing with AI. It's all in the prompt. It's crap in, crap out. Okay. If your prompt sucks, your output sucks. So, and Google doesn't innately have a problem with AI generated content, but they do have AI detection. You can't just generate something and copy and paste it and you're done. You can't do that. Google won't penalize you. They just won't rank it.
Yeah.
Well, and Paul, along those lines, I mean, we'll get into AI more later on too, but the thing that's missed in that whole equation is it's almost, some people come into it with the mentality of, I just need to get this done. Check, AI did it for me. I got a blog post now. But the thing is that if it's not a blog post that resonates with what the person is searching for and resonates with the content that they're trying to find a solution for, or they need content because they're like, I have a broken tooth. How do I solve this problem? Or whatever it is. I need a new roof. and I'm looking at a particular, I want a metal roof, right? If the blog content doesn't satisfy what they're looking for, it's useless. It's just one of the things that I think we're all seeing, and this isn't just marketers that are seeing this is the whole world, is a super saturation of crappy content. And we were seeing that before, but AI has just like exploded that now because of the accessibility of it, that you can now create crappy content without any effort, basically. That's a problem. That's a problem for sure.
And it's not AI that's creating the crappy content. It's the crappy prompts that's creating the crappy content.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it also gives you an opportunity, right? Anytime, like you were talking about COVID. So COVID didn't make marketing harder, but it did expose bad marketing, because all of a sudden people were investing more into, especially into digital marketing. So from a competitive set,
it increased.
All of these competitors started to get their acts together. And then if you were sitting on your laurels, there's, people were just passing you by. And I think that's where, there's a saying in the corporate world that sales covers over, bad marketing. That's true, right?
Yeah.
That if your sales are high, you don't care if your marketing's bad. You should, but you don't. And so I think to your point, in a bad economy, man, like you need to have all your ducks in a row. You need to be maximizing the return on your marketing investment, or you're going to run into trouble eventually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. And, since Paul mentioned COVID, I mean, a lot of businesses, were either crushed by COVID, or a lot of businesses actually saw a massive surge in business. And, regardless of whether they were doing marketing really, really well or not, if it was just adequate enough, there was so much business, especially in home services space, for example, that, they probably, I mean, I know a lot of people got spoiled. And as times get leaner and harder and economic challenges face us, you have to get lean and mean. And, what you were doing before, may not be effective anymore. And so we also are living in a time where we're in a massive paradigm shift with AI, and with the potential for AI. We've never had a greater opportunity to crank up and build a marketing machine. I mean, a marketing system that is a machine that just runs. But that just doesn't happen. It requires design. It requires human supervision and quality assurance. And you also have to have an understanding of business process engineering. And how do you optimize business processes? How do you document them? How do you build in the procedural workflow, the checkpoints, the handoffs, all of that stuff. And because of what's required in today's market, because of AI, and because of the competition levels that have really been jacked up over the last 4 or 5 years, where everybody had to get online, it's made it even more difficult, I think, for a lot of businesses to really grasp, what marketing, what is required for marketing.
Yeah. One of the pain points, and this is actually the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic today, and why I was doing that other webinar on this topic recently, was because one of the things I do hear from people, especially if the businesses have experience with a marketing agency or multiple marketing vendors, is this issue of time. So, imagine you're a small business owner. You may have multiple crews. You may have a team of 15. It may be just yourself. If it's yourself, of course, you're doing the work, right? Or you're hiring somebody to do the work for you. But this issue of time, where the businesses feel like, even if I hire a marketing agency, even if I hire vendors, man, it's going to suck a lot of my time, because that's what happened in the past. There's so many moving parts, so many approvals they have to do, that kind of thing. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, are there ways to minimize the amount of time that a small business owner needs to put into marketing, but can still partner with the right people, still get great results, but not be time starved and on the hook to do a whole bunch of things, because that is the case in a lot of circumstances that I see out there in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Anybody want to jump in?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, you can, and I know we're going to probably get into this later, but AI can help with a lot of that. There's automations that can help with a lot of that. We talked about that in the past. I mean, it's all part of a marketing plan that if and like AI voice agents, which is something we're working on a lot now, that if you're a small service area business and you don't have someone to answer the phone, people don't want to leave voicemails anymore. And so these
They don't leave voicemails anymore.
Right. And these voice AI agents, they basically, it's the future of voicemail. It's the future of call centers. And I think it's going to put these, or not call centers, these, I don't know what you call it. They just basically, they answer the call, they answer the phone 24/7, pass on the information.
After hours call centers. Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of bad posers out there.
And they're, I think they're going to go out of business because AI can replace them, because a lot of them, all they're doing, they're taking information and passing that on to the business owner. AI voice can do that along with IVR. I think it's going to eliminate a lot of them, but that can help streamline things, and it's a much more immediate response for the customer or the potential customer.
And Paul, because you guys probably do this too, but when we're doing especially ads, but overall in marketing plans, we usually introduce a form of measurement of attribution, but also call tracking and call recording, so that the client themselves can audit calls, so that they can do process improvement, scripting with their team, professional development. But one of the things that always surprises me is the clients that are investing, and I use this term very loosely, but hiring, because it's not an investment if it's not done well, right? It's a poor investment. But hiring the cheapest after hours call centers that they possibly can. And because we record the calls, we do an occasional audit of these calls, because we want to make sure, first of all, that we're attracting the right kind of leads and the quality of leads that our clients want. And so when we do these audits and we look at some of the after hours calls, these are disastrous, like absolutely disastrous, where the call center knows nothing about the business, and it's because they're just poor quality, right? Like, they don't train their staff properly. They might not have a CRM system that pops up and tells them that, man, this is a call for this company that does this kind of work, that is always accepting new customers. Because the one thing I hear all the time is, hey, I'm looking for a new accountant, or I'm looking for whatever it is. Are you guys accepting new patients? And they're like, I don't really know, but we'll have somebody call you back. And I'm like, the answer is always yes. What are you doing? The answer is always, it's so funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Paul, but I wanted to jump in because I thought it was such an important point.
Well, yeah, it is. And there's just nothing exists in a silo, I guess. It's a holistic approach. And I think there's a lot of small business that I'm going to have this person do this, and this person do this, and this person do this, and no one communicates with one another.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that you know what people should be doing too. I mean, if you're trying to task out different marketing activities, you may not even really know what the best use of somebody's time wouldn't, or their responsibilities might actually need to be.
Yeah. One of the interesting things I've heard from businesses too over the years is, especially people that are dabblers or love the technology, or they took a marketing course in college or university 20 years ago, and so they have this sense of what marketing should look like, and they feel like, Ian, what's holding me back, or Ken or Paul, what's holding me back from just digging in, learning how to use AI to build websites, or to whatever, build my own blog posts. And I can do this at night, and one of the things that I work really hard at explaining to people is like, this is a tiny piece of the overall engine. Like this, you're looking at one component of an engine that makes your marketing work. And even if you become an overnight expert in this one piece, because you're not working in this every day, it's just this side interest. Your information, your expertise will be out of date within a week, 3 months, 6 months. Like, this industry moves so fast that if you're not actively, like even a graduate from, university or college 3 months ago, like their information is going out of date faster than it ever has in the history of the planet, right? So
Yeah.
you need to get in there and you need to be doing it every day to truly be good at it and to be an expert in the field.
To kind of follow on what Paul was talking about, and Ian, you were talking about it too, with the poor responses from these call centers or support centers. You can train an AI voice agent exactly how to answer on behalf of your business. And you can monitor it, you can optimize it in near real time. I mean, as soon as one call is complete, you get a transcript where you can immediately go and say, oops, no, this agent shouldn't have answered it that way. And it's going to provide consistency. It saves money. The reality is 80% of the statistic right now is 80% of people will not leave a voicemail if they get to the voicemail. And another harsh reality is 62% of small businesses don't answer the phone, don't respond to a call when it's first placed. So there's massive opportunity there. You've got to put the opportunity cost associated with that to figure out what is an AI voice agent really going to be able to do for your business in terms of creating revenue and avoiding costs. It's both opportunity, and guess what? Your competition loves you if you're doing this, because you're just giving them the opportunity instead of letting it come to you. So, we had, this side, that book right there, we had talked about, a lot of ideas about how to make it easier for people in the business to get the marketing team the information they need, and so a couple of things there are, voice memos are great. Transcription technology is really good. It's very cost effective. And, if you just record a voice memo about why a customer hired you, then, what were some of the nuances of the project that you did, and you send that to your team, now they have differentiating information that they can incorporate into blog posts or project write-ups. Right now with AI, and this is going to freak a lot of people out, but you can actually clone your voice. And so you can have your voice cloned, and then in order to get your voice out there, all you have to do is have it read a script, and AI generated voiceovers with your voice will create a script that you could use to put over the top of a video that's created. You could create a series of B-roll, where you capture, video of people working in action, your team, your brand, your products, delivering your services, whatever, and have this B-roll, and it can also be a combination of still pictures, because you can make pictures look like they're moving on video, and you overlay that with like AI voice cloned, from somebody in the business, which you don't even have to use AI clone voices, because AI can generate a voice from a variety of other people that are actually out there. So we really just need guidance on and approval on what's on the script to make sure that it's consistent with the way you want your brand represented, and accurate in terms of what you do, how you do it, and things like that. So you don't have to do all of this. And a lot of people never get around to doing any of it because they're overwhelmed and they think it's way too hard. So a good marketing company is going to help you make your life easier by most effectively creating strategies to make it easy to extract the information they need to be able to go do their jobs. You probably still need to do some things, right? I mean, there's no substitute for, live video or actual real video of job sites or projects, and Ian, you deal more with the dental side of things, so I can't really speak about that. But behind the scenes, meeting the staff, all of that stuff, you've got to have those elements as well. You can't just generate everything, but there are so many ways. And Paul, you talked about automating processes. It's like when somebody calls your website and leaves a message, or they get this AI voice message, voice agent, or they fill out a form on your website, you can actually automate a series of emails or text messages that are sent back to that person to communicate back with them, to kind of guide them through the buyer's journey and get them to move maybe a little bit further along, a little bit faster. So there are really a tremendous amount of things that can be done, but you have to have the know-how and the expertise and knowing what is possible, what can be done. And the last thing I'm going to say is, AI is going to disrupt every industry, and some industries it's going to be this year where it's totally disrupted. In other cases, it may take a couple of years. In other parts of, like on the coasts in the US and Canada, maybe it's going to happen faster there than it does in the center. Sometimes it takes a while to trickle in. It's coming, and it's coming fast. And if you're not paying attention, businesses are going to get steamrolled if they don't plan for this. And so you've got to work with somebody who has a big picture strategic vision. And that's why marketing's hard. It's no longer just marketing, it's business processes. It's integrating marketing into every aspect of everything you do in your business, and leveraging the technology and the automation capabilities that exist out there.
Yeah. And it was mentioned a couple times, I think by both of you, that truly the only way you can make marketing easy, because hey, we're you guys and me and Jeff, who's not on the call today, we all have developed systems and processes to, first of all, make it easy for us to deliver the marketing that we promise, but also to be able to measure the marketing on an ongoing basis in order to make sure that what we're doing is moving the needle in the right direction to get our clients to our goals. And the only way you can do that is by having a plan that fits within a system, and the system guides all of the integrations of all of the different marketing pieces. So they're not spinning plates like, I don't know. The only thing I've seen that on is like old Ed Sullivan shows where the guy's like spinning all the plates, right? But instead are like gears working together in an engine to drive you to the promised land of what you want to achieve for your business. So I think that's such a vital point that you guys have raised about systems and processes. So either a business is going to develop these systems and processes for marketing themselves, or they're going to hire someone that has this philosophical approach to marketing. And I think it's very few and far between in the industry where agencies have this overarching holistic approach to marketing that is a systematic methodology of doing it. And if I were a small business owner, which I happen to be, I would leverage that, and I do leverage that in my own business, because otherwise you're just throwing darts at a board hoping for the best thing to happen, and that's not even a strategy. That's just really bad, wishful thinking. And good marketing doesn't happen by accident. It happens with a strategy and a plan and a system to do it.
And it's always going to require human intervention. There are a lot of people out there selling set it and forget it SEO services because AI does some of this stuff now. And that's a dangerous path. Jobs are going to change, and jobs are already changing to where you may not create the content. You may be more the shepherd or the guide or the quality assurance agent to make sure what was generated from from prompts that were engineered to create high quality output to begin with. You have prompt engineers, you have quality assurance people now playing the role. instead of maybe just pure content writers, blog post writers. The world is changing, and if you're working with a company that isn't already talking to you about these things, that'd be a red flag to me.
Yeah.
You want to shed prospects or potential customers as quickly as possible, put in a phone tree.
Well, hey,
How often has that pissed you off?
Yeah, for sure. Because everybody knows that it's not to the benefit of the customer; it's to the benefit of the business.
It's
right?
Either that or you call and they've got this 5-minute long message that you have to wait through before you can do anything. And again, this is where the voice AI and IVR and things like that can really help, because you can say, hey, if you want to talk to somebody at any particular time, press this button, press number 1 or whatever.
Yeah. And one of the best quotes I've heard related to this was through some of the training I was doing on voice AI agents, was that we've been testing it for a while now. I'm sure you guys have as well, for your own businesses as well as for your clients. And it is incredible. Like, it truly is incredible, especially if you have anecdotal evidence of bad call centers, which I have lots of. It's astounding to me how good this is. And I remember in the training, the guy said, as good as this is, it's never going to be worse than it is today, because it's just the technology is developing so fast that this is the worst it's ever going to be. Whereas unfortunately, I hate to say this because I hate people losing jobs, but non-AI call centers, human call centers, you never know what you're going to get. Right. Whereas this gives you actually consistency and stability that you'd never experience anywhere else, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's critical for every business, I think, to seriously look at implementing this.
Yeah. Let's talk measurement and reporting for a second, because I think one of the things that makes marketing really hard for business owners is that they may be getting reporting from their marketing vendors, but it's confusing or it's downright meaningless. What do you guys do to make marketing reporting valuable and easy for your clients to know what's happening and how is it moving the needle for me?
I think you've got to focus on metrics that are meaningful. There are a lot of metrics that are purely vanity metrics that make you feel good. The classic is, oh, look at the number of Facebook likes I have, or whatnot. But as Mari Smith told us last week, with Facebook, followers is dying very quickly in the world of social media because of changes in the algorithm driven largely by AI, to where it now can deliver content to people based on interests in a way that it hasn't been able to do before, versus people who just happen to choose to follow your business online. And so, if you don't know what those metrics are, I mean, right now for us, I think, obviously, total revenue generated by return on ad spend and all those things are always going to be there. But, one of the easiest metrics to get your arms around these days is booked appointments, because booked appointments lead to closed revenue. So you have to factor in, what's your close rate, when you have an appointment. If it's already a paid appointment, then that's already generating revenue. If it's a free estimate, then you have to look at your close rate and see how that's happening. You have to look at the total number of leads, how many people are contacting your business, how many people are actually scheduling an appointment. An appointment could be, it could be an estimate. It could be a reservation at a restaurant. It could be, booking an appointment time at a medical facility, dentist, med spa, chiropractor, whatever. But, it's actually getting that meeting booked where somebody is, because that's where they're taking concrete action. Those are really the most meaningful, I think. If you're it's really easy to get distracted by a whole lot of metrics. fluctuations in keyword rankings, looking at total keyword rankings, is probably a better way to look at in terms of overall visibility. But even knowing what the right keywords are is super important, because a lot of people out there promote SEO programs and help you rank for keywords that just nobody ever searches. So it's like, okay, that's not doing you any good, but it looks great. And trend analysis is also super important. I mean, those are the things that I would look at. And, I think AI can help you do some of those things. But again, it's human expertise, that really is going to make the difference, I think, in most of these situations.
So you covered a whole bunch of things there, Ken, but how do you guys, is there something special that you guys do from a reporting standpoint to help your clients understand what the reports are? Do you provide monthly reports? What do you guys do to make it as easy as possible?
Yeah. It depends on the desire of the client. I mean,
yeah,
really, it's like, we pay attention to things every month. We look at statistics and metrics and trends that, they're never going to care about, or even know to care about, but we need to pay attention to those to modify our program. When we're doing an SEO program or a comprehensive digital marketing program, we're constantly twisting the knobs, based on how we see the different needles moving to try to create that optimal outcome for our clients. And so, honestly, we don't do a whole lot of reporting. I mean, we have conversations with our clients. We find out what's important, and we've already done a lot of the hard work in making sure that we understand those things. And then it's really just a matter of, a lot of people just, whether it's the right thing for, and some companies are not going to be comfortable with, others are, they don't have time to pay attention to it, and they trust an agent that they've outsourced that work to. Other people, we have monthly phone calls where we go through, different performance metrics, some of which they care about and want to bring up. Others we point out to them, to highlight positive trends, or negative trends for that matter, and certainly competition. We're monitoring the competitive landscape.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues with reporting is no matter how you present it, how easy you try to make it, you still have to understand what the data is telling you. And most people, and Google is horrible about this, they'll fire out these reports out of Google Business Profile or Search Console with zero context. It means nothing to the business owner. And then they're sending us email asking us if there's a problem or what does this mean or what does that mean. And it's like Google is not helping anyone when they do that. And it's the same thing with Ken had mentioned about keywords, but if you're ranking really good for a keyword that's irrelevant to your business, maybe you do something kind of as a side, but it's not something you're going to go out and do on its own. Yeah. But you rank really good for that keyword. Well, okay, good. But that doesn't help you. So everything has to be taken in context, and it's really difficult to present that in a way that the average business owner is going to understand. It's not their job to understand it. They have a business to run.
Yeah, we do make reports available, online and share those links, with clients. I mean, things to also kind of take a look at, are your review statistics. Are you getting a nice steady stream of reviews coming in? What's your overall composite rating, things like that. We look at all of those things for our clients, and I feel like it's my job to let somebody know when something's going off the rails or working really well. And so, we try to, we try to operate in that manner, really. I mean, a perfect example is we've got a client that for the last several months, we've seen a really disturbing number in regard to their domain rating. And it looks incredibly low. And it's in a pretty competitive environment. That's just one reporting tool. You look at it in a different reporting tool, guess what? It's about where we would have expected it to be. And so reporting tools aren't always accurate and don't always tell you the right things either. So we try to set up multiple checkpoints, to make sure that we've got a bigger set of data to look at from different reporting tools to really kind of validate that. And, that's something that we can do as an agency because, we've got several clients that we can put on our tool sets. And we've got an economy of scale there to be able to do that. Whereas, a typical small business, they can't buy all of these different tools that we use. And we use it in some cases literally to fact check other tools.
Yeah. Go ahead, Paul.
Ken had mentioned something there, and I just want to touch on it. This domain authority, and we've talked about this in the past. I'm not saying it's useless, but it's a factor of what platform you're using, whether it's SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, whatever, because they have their own algorithm to determine what a website's domain authority is, because Google has no such thing as domain authority. They have page authority. They rank pages, including your homepage, separately. They don't have a domain authority metric. And that comes straight from Google.
Well, and Paul, you were dealing with a situation yesterday where one of our customers sent us something, and they were concerned that there was something seriously wrong.
That was Search Console.
Yeah, Search Console. And it's like, okay, well, it didn't, it was showing a PDF.
Yeah, Google was bitching because there wasn't a canonical link, and it's a PDF file. There is no canonical link for a PDF file. It's a downloadable file.
Yeah.
But they fired.
So guys, just because I know we're actually doing exactly what we said we wouldn't do. we're making marketing reporting difficult by even talking about some of this. Let me jump in because I have to share something, because this has come out of, so I've been doing my business for 10 years. Before that, I spent about 18 years in the corporate world. And one of the things I learned was that reporting is useless. Data is useless if you don't have insights. And I know you guys believe this as well. But one of the things we worked really hard on was in our early days of our agency, we would provide PDF reports. We would customize these reports. We would send them to the client, and there would be crickets. Sometimes you'd have a follow-up meeting. Sometimes you wouldn't. Then we moved into digital live dashboards, where we customized a dashboard for our clients, and it was always available, always live, up-to-date information, and we could actually track how this was being used. And again, crickets. Nobody
looked at them.
Yeah. So we get tons of feedback from both prospects and clients on our approach now, and it's highly laborious for us. So we put an awful lot of time, energy, and effort into it. But the reason we do it is because clients give us so much feedback about it that this is a game changer for them. And so what it is we do what I call video marketing insights reports every single month for our clients. And these are where we run reports on what was done, what the results are, what our recommendations are to them. And we draw out what you guys are talking about, like nuances, outliers, things they should be aware of, trends in the industry. So in my last report, I was talking about TikTok, right? And what the ban will mean or might mean, where it's at in legislation, all of that kind of stuff to our clients. But then talking about the context of that within what they're trying to achieve. And in these reports, I start with an executive summary in the first minute of the video, so that if that's all they want to see, they can turn off that video and they know where they are because we're their trusted partner in marketing. But then I go into the details, and clients have said over and over, man, this actually makes sense now because you're the guide walking us through, here's what these results actually mean to us. So that's not to disparage PDF reports or live dashboards. But man, we have worked so hard to create this approach that seems to be resonating with a lot of business owners, because just what we're trying to talk about today, it makes marketing easy for them. It makes the reporting easy for them. And so I would encourage small businesses, when you're interviewing your next marketing agency, your next marketing partner, ask them what their reporting is. How do they connect your ultimate goals to the marketing that's being done? And I think, if you can do that, that's a big step in the right direction. Sorry, nobody gets as passionate about reporting as I do. We're all marketing geeks in our own way.
Yeah.
Guys, I know we're coming up on the hour. Is there, man, I think we could talk about so many different areas. Like, we haven't even covered like specific areas of marketing, but one of the other things I wanted to make sure we touched on was communication. One of the other big areas I hear business owners having challenges with is communication with their marketing agency, vendor, whatever. Do you guys want to talk about that at all, or just it's a problem that's always, it needs to be solved?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly, it's a two-way street, because we can only do so much without getting content and feedback.
Yeah.
And so that's a real challenge. I mean, one of the things that I get excited about is actually, the content creation. There are a whole series of repurposing tools that, give us the ability to more efficiently create content than we've ever had, more efficiently extract what we need from our clients to create that content. And then, like, we love to lead with creating video, and then video feeds blogs, it feeds social media posts, it feeds
Everything.
Short videos, it feeds press releases, it feeds email marketing. And so guess what? We spend a lot of time trying to get the video right, get it scripted, get it approved, get it reviewed. And then, you know what? It's really easy for our clients because they don't have to review every single blog post that, that's derived from that, or every single social media post that's derived from that. And so that's a huge benefit. And done right, you're creating content clusters that have real SEO value with that type of a strategy.
I love it. We do the same thing, Ken. It's such a game changer, right? To do rich content first and then divvy it out amongst, repurpose it. Paul, any other kind of last thoughts on how to make marketing easy for small business owners?
Don't try to do it yourself. But the only thing, and Ken mentioned this, what I'd wrap up with is, look, AI is going to change everything, everywhere, in every way, whether you like it or not. And that's only going to accelerate. I mean, you can build GPTs that build GPTs. And a lot of people think that this AI is, well, I don't know, a lot of people, that it's just some kind of fad, like that internet thing. How long is that going to last? And it's not going away. And it's going to have a profound impact, even on small businesses.
Maybe even more so on small businesses. Because small businesses don't have the money to invest in AI. I guarantee you, large companies are already investing heavily in AI.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The thing to remember too is when we were talking about, having to manage the vendors, this is absolutely the same case for why you should find a good partner, is because you, as the small business owner, managing the AIs is just another management process that you don't need to do. And how do you even know it's being done properly? Which I think you guys have phrased really well through this. So AI's changing a lot of things, but it's not like the easy button. It's not going to magically do your marketing for you properly and strategically without oversight.
AI is a tool, not a solution in and of itself.
Yeah. Good point. And right now it's just very disparate, right? Every tool is trying to integrate AI into it, which is helping the tools be more effective, but it's still a whole bunch of tools. It's not
Right.
like a marketing expert in a box, an easy button.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
great points, guys.
That's a good pointing in that you have to know it's not just a matter of getting a hold of a tool or a suite of tools. You have to know how to use them. There's some of these will do a lot, but
Yep.
it's a steep learning curve. And if you're a small business owner and you actually have time to learn that, maybe you should spend time building your business.
Yeah. 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 You didn't become a roofer to be a marketer. You didn't become a dentist to be a marketer, right? Like it's just distracting you from your core role in your business of running and building and managing.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let me just close off with some final tips, which I think we've covered, but just to put it concisely into how to make effective marketing easier for small business owners. First, I drew out implement a plan now. Like you need a plan, you need a marketing plan, an overarching marketing plan. You need to be consistent and you need to follow up with people, right? And have tools to do that. You need to be able to measure, adjust, and improve what your marketing is doing. And you need to know where to invest your dollars, your marketing investment, to get the most bang for your buck. And I think, again, it always feels like we're promoting ourselves, but that's just because we're in the business and we see all of the issues that people run into when they don't do this well or hire the right guys. So hire the right marketing partner, somebody who can come alongside your business and help you, and that you can hold accountable for the results of the marketing, right? Nothing could be easier than that to do this highly complex thing that we're calling marketing. So thank you, Ken. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your thoughts today on this really important topic that seems to be a big pain point for a lot of business owners. Hey, everyone, be sure to share this podcast with your friends, your family, your dog, your cats, the coyotes that are in your backyard like Ken has, and keep calm and market on, folks.